So what would you say is the biggest mistake that you have ever made, grooming-wise?
Grooming us. Okay, cool. You totally narrowed this down. When I was hearing the first part of that question, I was like, whoa, how long do you want this show to be?
We'll talk about your personal life in person. So.
Hey, you found us. This is Grooming Unleashed, where we learn and talk about the ins and outs of the pet grooming industry. From pro groomers and salon owners to show hosts and dog handlers, we'll jump into the stressful and crazy stories of the day-to-day operations of the crazy world of grooming. I'm your host, Ryan Alvarez. Our podcast is sponsored by Loyalty Pet Products. Loyalty Pet Products provides quality grooming tools and accessories at an affordable price. From shears to stripping knives to smocks and hammocks, Loyalty Pet Products has an essential tool to fit your expectation and style. Use code UNLEASHED to save 10% today. Loyalty Pet Products, uniquely designed, beautifully priced. This is Ryan Alvarez, your host of Grooming Unleashed, and you are about to embark on part 2 with our guest, Jayne. If you haven't had a chance, check out episode 4, part 1 with Jayne, as she goes into the origin story of how she started her mobile grooming company in New York City. And in part 2, you will find out a little bit more of personal information with Jayne, such as Burning Man, and a little bit of some information for you groomers out there who are wanting to get into competition. So without further ado, enjoy part 2 with Jayne.
You're your own worst critic, and you're willing to accept losing over and over with a smile on your face. And you go to your judge and you say, "Where did I mess up?" And maybe you feel like you're the particular judge you had is in a division they maybe shouldn't be judging in, but they gave a decent critique, but you want to take it to the next level. So you track down your favorite judge or somebody that might be an expert with that particular breed. And you're like, "Hey, in what industry do you get to just run up to your idol or your inspiration, present the dog that you just hacked and said, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do wrong?" And they will give you the time of day. And that's what's so beautiful about it. So, even if you don't think you know what you're doing, trust me, I walked into that ring not knowing what I'm doing. Yeah. And sometimes that's just how you have to learn. You have to challenge yourself. You need to make yourself extremely uncomfortable and put yourself out there and then fail. You're not going to get a better explanation than one of these judges looking you up and down and telling you where you fell short and telling you how you can improve. And what's really a beautiful thing is judges care and they don't forget. You could go to another show a year later and they're not even judging your division, and you do a little bit better than you did the time before. And, I've had a judge walk up to me and said, "You did a good job. You listened to what I told you. You did a good job." And I can't even remember, like, if I remembered to eat in the morning, and just shows how much dedication these judges have to what they do.
Yeah. And Jonathan David's one of the best. So it's...
I love him. I literally love him. He stresses me out during judging. I'm not gonna lie. Like, literally, he's like the MacGyver of like forgotten tangles. Like, literally the MacGyver. I will like strategically put down the biggest freaking comb I own, something that you have no business combing a dog with. It looks like a rake. I'm like, "You go find a knot, mofo. Let me see you find one." And literally, he just got an armpit knot.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he'll just find
where?
like a perfect curvature in the back leg that he finds like, "Oh, this is out of place."
No, he is really, really, really thorough, and he's got a really good eye. I'm convinced that, and he told me a really cool story. And I hope he tells it again in his own words when he's on your show. But it's when he started competing, And he was, he was Mr. Hotshot Manhattan. And he's like, I can do this. And he exactly did. He went there, he presented his dog, scissored it beautifully, presented it to the judge. I wish I remembered the judge. He will be able to tell that part of the story. But they said, your scissor work is exquisite. It's beautiful. Your profile sucks. Learn your profile. Come back. And he did. He was like, oh, okay, my profile does suck. And he came back. And then Jonathan David was born. He's just this transformative, and like, again, there was a period of time we couldn't watch, our industry leaders like online and see what they do and see what they say and everything. So, back in the days where, we walked 20 feet in 10 feet of snow to get an internet dial up, getting these little tidbits of information about, about all these great things and competitions and shows at that time. Because I would go to them when I was younger. I just didn't really understand much. But, there were certain things people did and said that I witnessed at those times that always stuck with me. And, to see literally just how Jonathan David has been able to just rise to absolutely everything that's been required of him, he just takes 10 steps over. And it's just definitely been incredible just in my chunk of my time in this industry to see what things he's done.
Right. No, totally agree. How much do you believe in karma?
Oh, I totally believe in karma. And actually, one of my dogs, a poodle, I co-own with my best friend Sophia Pierce. Her name is Karma, and her name is actually Karma's bitch. So I fully believe in karma.
Well, the reason I ask is because, in April of 2016, you won New York City Person of the Week, and you feel like that kind of thrust you into the spotlight as far as, getting more recognition. But you got recognized for that because you give unselfishly for your grooming time once a week to the Humane Society, so that those animals can look better to get rescued. So do you feel like you've been rewarded both spiritually and financially with giving back to the Humane Society?
100%. 100%. And you want to know what? One of the most best things that I got back through this, as all of us go through our, finding employees, woes, being able to find the perfect groomer, I expanded and I ended up being short-staffed, and it was creating a lot of stress for me. And I was still trying to do it all, and it was having detrimental effects on my health, my mental health. I was going crazy because I had, all these clients, and I had the work of 3 people, and I'm trying to do it alone with my assistant, and it was a lot. And my best friend, who's actually a hairdresser, her name's Maria Lopez, she was helping me bathing, and she literally every end of every week I would go to give her a paycheck. She'll avoid me. She's like, I gotta go. I'll catch up with you next week. Go to give her a paycheck the following week plus the other check. I can't hang around. I gotta go. Just leave it at the house. I'll get it later. It's fine. I'll see you next week. This went on for months. It got to a point where I was like, Maria, I have a bunch of money in my bank account that is not mine, and I'm not comfortable with it sitting there anymore. You need to take these checks now, and you are going to the bank now, and you're cashing them. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, boo. I'm like, that's it? She's like, oh, I need to deposit it into the account because I'm calling Nash Academy and I'm signing up for a dog grooming school, because I'm not letting you sell your second truck, not letting you kill yourself. I'm going to go to grooming school, try to be the best groomer I could be, and I'm going to help you out. Exactly what she did. And there is no words, no amount of money. There's nothing I could do or say to be so grateful for how much she saved my business and saved my own life, because I literally, I was having problems with my arm, my hands. The first time, I think every groomer goes through this at some point where your body's just failing you, and you're a business owner. I know you understand that when things happen and you need another person and they're just not there and you're just freaking out. And she stepped up. And when she came back, she was more than ready. I said, all right, I need to watch how you work and evaluate. Figured it'd be a couple months. She was just on it. First day, she just had it down. And she needed help. She needed guidance. She needed assistance, but she took her role seriously and she learned. And well, anyways, I said, listen, the way we're going to work on your speed is I want to put you in a not so stressful situation. I'm going to have you go to the Humane Society. And Lowell, was one of the healthcare directors there, is going to bring you down as many dogs as you want to groom. And some of these dogs are not perfect. Some of them, some of them haven't seen help in a long time. Some of them have a lot of problems. But this is going to be a good way for you to kind of get used to things and got comfortable. She fell in love with doing it. She fell in love. She was requesting to do it all the time. She even goes there and doesn't tell me. She adopted 2 dogs from there. She does so much for them that it literally, like, every time she goes there, it'll come up on her Instagram feed and she tags the business and she's like having a great time with blah, 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 blah. And like, it literally brings tears to my eyes every time because those babies mean so much to me. Mm-hmm. And making them happy and getting them connected to be with a good family. It makes me feel good. This is my feel good thing. I love purebred dogs. I love show dogs. I love breeders that are dedicated to what they do. I love show dogs. I love agility. I love all these things. But my little soft spot, I love these little delinquents that need homes. And although my home is not the right home for them, I've already established that. At one point in my life, I worked a lot less and I could welcome the most broken animal into my home. And I did this for years, and I would foster and I would rescue and I'd do all this. I'm not an appropriate space in my life for any dog that requires special needs and care to be entrusted into my care because my life is crazy. But the way I can help them is through the services I can provide them and the donations I can provide them and through what my employees can provide them. And Maria goes above and beyond to these dogs. She is so selfless and she is so loving and she's so good to them. She brings her kids with her so they can see what these dogs go through and they help her. And, so I know it's like, yeah, Karma brought back all the success and recognition and the TV shows and money and all this cool, fun, happy, feel-good stuff that we all like. But I feel like it brought me my best friend. I didn't just gain an employee from this. I didn't just gain Mother freaking Teresa. I don't even know if she's ever going to hear this. But I gained an angel in this, and I'm just grateful for her every single day. I couldn't do probably about 50% of what I do if it wasn't for her.
All right. Well, good deal, Maria. So you just got to tell Maria to listen to the podcast, and if she wants,
I know
she can forward to 1 hour and 10 minutes around that mark if she wants to skip everything else.
That's the kind of person she is. She's like, ooh, it's about me. I got to get in there. But no, she's really, really good people. She just started coming out to the shows recently, and she's really like starting to like it in a new way. And, she's like the first couple shows anybody goes to, it's like a social hour. So you're there to go to all the parties, you're there to do all the drinks. I'm boring as all hell. I'm there to freaking wake up at 4 a.m. and bait dogs. So like we didn't real mesh well when I first started with these things. It's like, I got to go bait dogs. She's like, I'm going to go get a drink. You crazy baiting dogs at 4 a.m. What's wrong with you? You're getting paid for this? And in the beginning, it wasn't really like a fun thing for us, but like this past year, she's like up at 8 a.m. Like, I'm going to go take classes, or, oh, guess who I just met? And I'm talking to this person and I'm talking to that person. And I see so much. And again, like, I don't look at as me as like her boss or like I have more experience than her. I look at her as my equal and to see her like kind of follow in the footsteps. Like when I first came to New York City with, doughy eyes and I'm going to open up a business and try to be the best there is in New York. Like that's what I see with her right now. And it's really, really, really beautiful.
That's awesome. So besides ADHD, where does your energy come from?
Ah, I don't know. I really don't. I always joke around about the ADHD thing. I've been fortunate enough to spend majority of my life unmedicated for it. I really, as a kid, naturally hyperactive, did not suit well for a school setting. So as an adult, I got involved in jobs that required me to be doing 15 things at once. So I really flourished with that. I don't know what else it could like there are times where I get home from work, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm just gonna hit the bed and pass out, and I'm not gonna do anything else. And then all of a sudden I see myself in my grooming closet. Like, I need to organize everything by season and put it in the closet in the order of the month I'm going to need. All right, time to do full inventory. All right, these are the things I need to order. Okay, time to clean up my schedule for the next 6 months and get all the stock ready for the van. And I'm going to get my label maker out. I need to start labeling things. I need to figure out what the last quarter sales tax quarterlies are, enter it into QuickBooks. I got to bother my accountant for things. And then it's 2 a.m. I'm like, I have to wake up in 5 hours. Why am I awake? And this is just literally, my mind is just always racing. There's always so much stuff to do. And I'm only tired after, I'm 75% done with my groom day. And then I get home and I'm like, time to practice violin. It's just weird. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's good though, because you're just constantly looking for the next thing. And I'm the same way. There's some days where like I get home and I really want to go to bed. I'm like, I can't, I really have to do this. And then there's days like a couple days ago where I had so much energy. I don't know what happened. Like I didn't have a second cup of coffee or anything, but I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning because I took advantage of that energy and got stuff done. So, so what would you say is the biggest mistake that you have ever made, grooming wise?
Grooming wise, okay, cool. You totally narrowed this down. When I was hearing the first part of that question, I was like, whoa, how long do you want this show to be?
We'll talk about your personal life in person. So,
yeah, biggest mistake. You know what? I literally made all the typical mistakes that all new business owners make. Everything they tell you not to do, I totally did. I got really emotionally invested in my staff, and I was their friends and I wasn't their boss. And, like I said, I had something not work out with an employee that I thought I was really close with. I considered her family, and her family is like my family. So when things didn't work out, it was like a breakup. Like, it was like somebody just like literally like, ripped my heart out of my chest, kind of like that Indiana Jones theme, hum shabai, hum shabai. Like, it was so bad. It was such a bad time in my life. It wasn't just bad, but like, wow, I just invested in this groomer. I paid for her school. I built up these clients, and like, now she's leaving and I am completely screwed in this situation. Like, it wasn't even just the money stuff. It was just like, I just lost a member of my family. And, at first, when you have something like this happen, there's, the blame game. Whose fault is it? How did this happen? And then, the point where I was just like, you know what? I need to put my employee hat on for a second and realize where my mistakes were. My mistakes were, I wasn't being a boss. I was being everybody's friend. I wasn't being a good leader. And I was just kind of regurgitating the same mistakes as an employer. I'm really happy that these mistakes were made like so early on in the infancy. I'm much better at being a friend and being a boss and being able to switch those hats up and being able to run my business well and keep my employees happy. That was my biggest mistake. I was just more interested in keeping everyone happy at my mental and emotional and financial expense, and not focused on what needed to be done. And I looked at every employer, like in my head, like a Rolodex, every boss that I've had, and like, this is grooming, like literally every boss I've had in 20 some odd years of working. probably even more. I've been working since I was like 14. I'd say like the most memorable employers are probably like 19 and up. And I look at their style, how they handled things. I look at the difficult decisions that they had to make. I looked at those times where they're sitting in their office, and I just thought they were just sitting around being lazy when they were probably looking at their expenses and trying to figure out how the hell am I going to make this month work. And, you know, that was so easy in my head to like literally criticize each and every single one of them for every decision they made. And I guess at that moment, I just had this full understanding of this whole kit and caboodle. It was pretty mind blowing at the time, actually. But that was my biggest mistake, learning how to be a boss. Now, not be an asshole boss, because that's not the kind of boss you want to be. Right. It's being able to balance that, like, hey, I'm a reasonable person. I'm interested in everything that you have to tell me, but I'm not your doormat. I'm not your trash can. I'm not your, you know, I'm not this thing you can kick around. So like we need it's a 50-50 give and take relationship where, you know, we respect each other and we love each other and we have boundaries. And, you know, that was probably my biggest mistake. It's just not being a good boss and not knowing how to communicate, not knowing how to handle tough, ugly discussions about things that were problems. And I would just treat it like, just thinking like an employee, not a boss.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to it's a business. I mean, you want to be liked, but at the same time, you do have to lead and you do have to be stern. And sometimes, you know,
it sucks.
The friendship might be there, but if it's not a good fit for the business, they have to go. And that's
yep. No, you're absolutely right. And I you know, I got a better handle on that. I know how to be the right balance of everything. And like I said, it's been a learning experience, you know, an expensive learning experience. But you know, I would say that that was probably my toughest lesson, is just learning how to be all the boss I can be.
Laura, when you are a mobile groomer, what's your biggest pet peeve aside from like trying to find parking spaces and stuff? In Manhattan, I should say.
People. So I would say like three quarters of my clients I don't see are on latchkey service. So I have keys, I have a doorman, I go in and out like a ninja. I get in that building in 3 seconds, out of that building in 3 seconds, groom the dog in 1 hour. They're back in the building. Boom, credit card on file, picture taken, sent to the client. I'll book you. I'll see you again in 4 weeks. Credit card charge, gratuity added, on to the next one. So I have a system of checking in 60 minutes before a client's estimated arrival window. And so I will check in saying, hey, I'm at the stop right before you. I should be arriving in 75 minutes. I will message you when I'm on my way and when I'm parked. And if you can be downstairs with Scruffy when I message you on my way, because it usually takes me 5 to 10 minutes to get to you, have him walked, pottied, and ready to go. That would be great. If you're not home now and you want me to drop off and pick up, now's the time to let me know. Or if there's a dog walker I'm coordinating with, just let me know. See you soon. Boom. Phone goes in the drawer. I don't pay attention to the phone until I finish that groom. I drop off the dog. I come downstairs and I see the guy says, that's great. Just message me when you're on the way. And I message them when I'm on the way. I message them again when I'm parked. And then I'm waiting 15 minutes for them to put their life together and march their butts downstairs and give me their dog. So I am all about communication and efficiency. And New York City is not a perfect place to live. But if I am letting you know 1 hour beforehand, I'm going to be there in 75 minutes. And then I message you when I'm on my way with a 15-minute arrival window. And then I message you again when I'm parked. If your butt is still freaking sitting in bed, painting your toes, flipping through Instagram, I want to punch you in the throat. Every time a person wastes 15 minutes, like I feel like a kitten dies. Because when you have that happen 4 times a day, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour.
That's a dog.
1 hour of the dog, that's time at home with my family. That's time that you can't get back. And so I started enforcing more policies that says I leave after 10 minutes. You're still billed for the entire appointment. Here is the bag filled with all my F's. And as you can see, it's barren. There's nothing in it. I don't care. And I've had clients feel like I'm over dramatic and feel like, you know, like, oh, how could you, da, 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 da. I've had to wait an hour for you before. I'm like, no, the difference is I communicate with you constantly. So if I have a 2-hour arrival window. So when I check in, 1 hour before that arrival window, and I tell you, hey, I'm actually running behind, I'll be there closer to 2. I will message you again when I'm on my way and again when I've parked. So I'm letting you know so I'm not screwing up your day. And if you want to be less of a control freak, just leave a key and you don't have to deal with my crap. And so I try to like see who the problem people are, the people that don't know how to get up and don't know how to walk down the stairs in time or don't know how to like respect other people's schedules. And those are the people that say like, hey, I really love your dog. I really don't love you. Not happy with how you're acting lately. Like I try to put it in the most friendliest way. Like I just want to get your dog and love him. And you are affecting that love time. So why don't you leave a key? You don't have to see me. Your dog just needs to see me. And they're like, that's it? I'm like, yep. And that's it. Keys left. I get to get my dog. I get happy. I get him clean. I take pictures. And all of a sudden, me and mom like each other again. I was a real doormat in the beginning with the business, petrified by Yelp, petrified, scared that if I spoke my mind for 5 seconds and said, hey, it took you like 45 minutes to bring down bubbles. Can you not do that? I was petrified. Then I was just like, you know what? I need to stop allowing this social reviewing system hold my happiness by the cojones. I am going to embrace my inner Jonathan David and Jorge, and I'm going to put my foot down, and I'm going to say, no, absolutely not. If you can't get downstairs and you can't leave a key, there's a Petco on every corner. Enjoy yourself. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. There's another store on, that's the thing. Like in New York City, we have businesses on every corner. You can go to Petco, you can go to PetSmart, you can go to, I think we have like
Shave Down Sally.
Sally Shave Down. I mean, it's really hard to get like a really bad groom in New York. I mean, there are grooms that are less great than others, but for the most part, you can get a decent job done. You know, it's really just about when, where, and how long. But like kind of once I put my foot down, those annoyances got less. But those are usually my biggest biggest headaches. So people that just don't respect your time. Or you're finished with the dog, and I have a note in the system that says, takes a really long time to come downstairs and pick up the dog. Message, you're done 15 minutes before you're actually done. And those are my favorites. And I'll say, I'm done. And I'll still be scissoring. And when they look in front of the van, they'll look in the front driver's seat window and they'll see me still grooming in the back. And I'll see them and I'll go open the door like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I'm like, no, you just happen to take like 20 minutes to come downstairs sometimes. So I just message you, I'm done. And I just keep scissoring until you come down. You're like, oh my God, am I that much of a piece of crap? And I'm like, yes, yes, you are. It's okay. I know how to adjust.
That's
oh my God, I'm sorry.
New York spice right there.
It is. It really is. But, you know, I think this is coded from a really great movie. Everyone should live in California long enough, but leave before it makes you too soft, and stay in New York long enough, but leave before it makes you too hard.
Yep. What breed do you groom that forces you out of your comfort zone?
You want to know what? I would have been able to answer that question before I started competing. I have a tendency to only compete with things that are completely out of my pay grade and my comfort zone. So I tend to eradicate that real quick. So when I started, it was drop coats. And then I got a Maltese and I started competing with him. And now, like, just over the years, watching videos, techniques, again, back to the going to trade shows, Jonathan David's scissor over comb technique, Jody Murphy, with her detailers, her blenders and her spinners, her line of shears. That was a big help. Trying to think what else. Olga with her Asian fusion videos, like just all this just lit this fire under my butt. And things just registered with me with drop coats. then it was the mystery of the poodle. And again, just kind of competing and failing over and over and over again. Going to dog shows and watching those same dogs, well, maybe not those exact same dogs, but watching those dogs in those breed profile trims march around the ring, and seeing their movement and seeing how their coats look and being like, oh my God, I get it. I get it. Look, I'd squat down all weird, and I'd be like, I see where the leg thing goes to this thing, and I'll be calling people like excited about this. And we're like, oh God, I look like a psychopath. I need to leave here, or I need an adult. And that's the beauty of it, is when you jump into these competitive situations with things you have no business doing, and you know, whether you don't finish in the ring and you have to run off to Sue Watson's booth crying like, I screwed up my poodle, can you help me? She seriously did, and this seriously happened. And it's you know, it's just those feelings don't resonate with me anymore. If I do get a client that calls that says, hey, I'm in a bind, my handler quit, I have this particular breed, and it's maybe a breed that I'm efficient in with pets, but I may not be comfortable with a dog whose show career is on the line, I will call, you know, I'll refer an expert, because I don't want to screw with, you know, a dog show owner's, you know, shot at points or finishing. Those are the kind of things where I'm like, it's like, yeah, I know I'm good, but I'm not that good. I don't need to be ruining someone's life. And that's pretty much the only things that I'll just kind of shy away from. If it's, you know, an actively being shown dog and it's grown out and there's nothing for me. If it's like more than like 12 weeks since like, yeah, this dog needs to be put back in profile or something, I might be like, let me call an expert.
What's your favorite breed to groom?
So hard. I really, really love all of them. I'm a big fan of Norwich Terriers. I love hand stripping, and I've been working really hard on Poodlington, German trim, and Bichon trim, and so like those three cuts have my heart right now. I'm really not like this is the only thing I want to do. I really, really get into all my challenges, and mainly when I do step into the ring, I always like every like 4 or 5 shows, I'll bring something that I haven't done before, and then that becomes my latest thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's only going to make you better. Just trying to do something again that's going to take you outside the box of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
so
100%.
What is the nastiest thing that has happened to you while grooming?
Nastiness.
Because you're a mobile groomer, you have a toilet that's portable, correct? Like do you have to
Oh God. Okay, so not with dogs. Oh my God. Yeah, there's a whole okay, so not with like skin and maggots and things of that nature. Oh God. So yeah, with mobile dog grooming, it's a real eye opener. So yeah, like in New York City, nobody lets you use their bathrooms. Like even Starbucks doesn't want people using their bathrooms. It's not an easy situation, but fortunately I'm a Girl Scout and I'm able to handle these things. So I buy these things called Travel Johns, and they are it's a portable urinal, and you pee in it, and it turns to gel, and you just dispose of it in front of the business that denied you use of their bathroom. Then they have the one for solids, which I'll let you use your imagination for.
Bucket.
And no, you can literally do it's meant for people that like work in trucks and drive around. It's highly rated. I actually used it at Burning Man. But yeah, you can put it into a trash can, you can put it into a portable breakdown toilet. You can use it in any kind of way. I mean, depending on how flexible you are, you could just stand if you needed to. And then it all goes into a bag and it seals on itself. There's chemicals in it that eradicate whatever you put into that bag. I'll let you use your imagination. And then you dispose of it in front of the business that wouldn't allow you to use their facilities.
Oh, you
And
put your business in front of the business that didn't let you do your
yeah,
business.
exactly. Here's my business. Enjoy. It's all for you. So it's
yeah, I mean, I trust me, I've done it before at some of the dog shows that when we first started, I had a hippie van, and trust me, I've never looked at a Walmart bag the same way since. So we've all been there. I mean,
yeah, no, at least you want to know what my biggest thing is, being able to maintain a level of dignity, and the travel shots have allowed me to maintain
that right now. You're beyond that.
I know. So my next van is going to have a bathroom in it, because I'm getting old and I have to drink a ton of water a day. And like literally, I have to pee. Like I'm the kind of like any woman can attest to this. Like holding your pee, ladies, it's not good for you. And when you're in your 20s, it doesn't matter. You know, hold it 12 hours a day. There is zero consequence. And then the 30s come. And 30s gets that baseball bat ready to just whack you into reality, your new reality of having to pee all the time. And I don't even have any children. So let's just change that expectation for literally our beloved moms that have had to bear and deliver children. It's a whole different ballgame for that. Literally, all a pregnant woman has to say is, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm immediately trying to find a bathroom. Because it's just, the world is just not fair. So, I mean, when I first started being mobile, the inner bartender in me was like, I can hold it. No big deal. And then I started getting sick. I started getting really, really, really sick. Down there types of sick. And that's not good. So I started like, I got to go. And that's it. And if there's a bathroom within proximity, great. If not, I got a whole private salon back here. Nobody needs to know. And like I said, there's a hygienic and clean way to dispose, and, you know, you don't need to feel bad about yourself, but whatever you decide to do, whether it is looking up every bathroom or asking your clients to use their bathroom or whatever it is, you have to just make sure you're doing it, because you can die. Yeah. You can seriously hurt yourself, and no fast-paced schedule is worth your health. It isn't.
Yeah. Duly noted. What I'm going to ask you 3 more in-depth questions. We're going to have a speed round and then a final question. So we're actually, and I knew this was going to happen with us. I really did. You know, we're pushing.
I know. I'm really enjoying my talk with you. I'm literally, this is so great. I hope people receive it as good as I'm enjoying doing this, because this is just really great.
Listen, I do it for the industry, but I also do it for myself too. And the fact that I've learned more about you, then that's enough for me. But if anybody can get things out of it as well, then that's a win-win. So yeah. I've been looking at the time. I know we're pushing that. We're getting close to 2 hours. But it's been so natural. I'm not too worried about it. But again, we'll get 3 more where, you know, you can go into your lower Jayne with the master plane, and stuff, and then we'll go to the speed round and we'll wrap it up. What would you like to see happen for the future of grooming and showing competitively that maybe is not there right now?
You want to know what? I think that the foundations that have been laid out have been for the tools at the disposal that both Barclay and educators, show promoters, everything that has been built for what opportunities were given at those times is incredible. I would like to see more efficiency in the whole competition process. Any given show, for example, if you're in the morning show, you're tied up from 8 a.m. to 12:23 p.m. And I know this because I've competed nearly every single show this past year. So that's 4 hours and 23 minutes on average. Then if you're in the second show, and again, your wife competes, I know you know this because you deal with that overlap, and it's not pretty. The meanest I ever am to my husband is when I've got 2 shows on one day and he's unfortunate enough to be there. That next check-in is at 1. The show starts at 2. So you're looking at potentially having to prep a dog in between. So that blow dry is absolutely perfect for that competition. So you're looking at being tied up for 9.5 hours, maybe even 10, for 2 shows in one day.
So how do you?
So that competitor,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Can't.
Oh, that's okay. Their competitor, if they wanted to take classes, they can't. They have to choose between competing and continuing education. That competitor might want to shop, or maybe they got some tips from the judge about a product that may help turn their whole groom around. They don't even have time to shop. And I feel that competition groomers miss on the education, and they miss on, they get their own education, don't get me wrong, but they miss out on other kinds of education. They miss out on their time with the vendors. They miss out on the evening stuff. And then the next day it's the same thing. And I feel like I wish there was a dialogue going on right now that we can find a way to make our shows more efficient when it comes to time. I believe Cheryl, God, why am I having a blonde moment with a lot?
Herself?
Purcell. She was just in China. She judged 65 applicants. And I asked her the time, how long it took. And they were very thorough. They worked very efficiently. And it was really efficient. At the top of my head, I can't remember the time. I will have to look up the post again, but it was good. It wasn't a whole long drawn out process. Now, I'm not saying that what we experience when we compete is crap. The whole lot you have to put into it. Like from a judging perspective, they have to go through. I feel so bad for those judges judging open. I literally get more anxiety watching open get judged than he get judged. It comes down to hairs. Like all of those dogs in open look perfect. They look like literally the breed standard in the damn book. And I see them scanning back and forth. And I'm just like, what the hell is even going on in their mind? Like, oh God, they're all perfect. What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I wish there was a way that we can make these shows be good for the competitor that also wants to learn and also wants to shop till they drop. I feel like, it's in all the years that we've been doing what we've been doing, that, it's time to figure out some kind of way to improve the efficiency of the show and allow things to not happen overlap, whether it be changing the competition days or changing the competition time. So the competitor can enjoy classes and can enjoy shopping. Or maybe the student that's studying doesn't have to pick between, hey, maybe sitting down and watching the grooming competition. So that was probably one of my biggest complaints when I was taking classes. Like, damn it, I would really, really like to watch them compete. I couldn't because I was in class.
Right.
So that's my only thing. These shows are great, and I know that this is not the most profitable thing in the world for them. Obviously they make money. This is a business, but I know sometimes they put a whole lot more than they get back. And it's a beautiful thing that I've been a part of, like off and on my entire life. And I would just like to see those changes at some point before, I hang up the scissors for good.
Yeah. Kudos to Todd Shelley at Barkley and the rest of the team.
Oh, yes.
This past show was probably the best that we've been to as vendors. And, it'll be interesting. We've never been to Atlanta Pet Fair before. So for Chris Berry kind of taking that over this year, it'll be interesting to see how that is. But trust me, it's so much stuff that goes into it. I mean, like they've already got the dates for next year out. So it's like, it's an ongoing process. It's not like they just get to
No, you know what? I had this theory that Todd just like doesn't sleep ever. Like, and there's proof. Like if you ever wonder if the man sleeps, you can just literally go onto Facebook, look him up in his messenger, and it'll say active 5 seconds ago. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. That man does not sleep. I can message him with a stupid question at 4 a.m. He's like, yep, nope, we're on top of it. We got it. Yep. And, you know, like literally, he doesn't even really blink. He's just always got his eyes open.
No, because he's sleeping. He's sleeping with his eyes open is what he's doing.
But he's, you know what? I have, you know, regardless, I've had these thoughts and ideas. Every time I see Todd, I'm like, maybe I should bring all this stuff up. He always looks like he's so burdened with doing so much. I'm like, I don't want to be that girl that's like, hey Todd, hey, we're Jayne, coast to coast, mobile dogger, we love the most. These are the things you can do with the show to make it a better experience for me. I don't want to sound like that person, so I just leave it alone.
Yeah,
but if someone else,
a suggestion box
would be beautiful, because then I can anonymously just go boink, and it would encourage more people to do it. Because at the end of the day, I want the vendors to make the most potential amount of money they could possibly make and have their awesome products hit the hands of every single groomer that is going to have their mind blown on Monday when they get back to work. It's really not about like, hey, this benefits everybody. All those instructors and teachers being able to have their classes overflowing with people. Maybe a competitor that's struggling with something, they got help. They got some help and some insight of what they're screwing up on before their competition. You know, whether it be like people they're kind of thinking of competing, but they're not sure, being able to go and sit and watch Open perform. You know, literally like all these things so everybody can get every aspect of it, not sacrifice one or the other to do it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and Todd's down to earth. He's got a good sense of humor. So maybe we'll make a little like cardboard box with a string around it. He'll just wear it around his neck.
That sounds beautiful. I will get to making it. I'll decorate it with lights.
Yeah, and glitter. So here's another one. Imagine you are a new groomer. Okay, you have no tools whatsoever. What you have $500 to spend? What are the must-have tools that you spend that money on?
All right. First things first. Bravura 5-in-1 clipper made by Wall. The Wall snap-on combs. And Utsumi finishing comb. Chris Christensen, like I forget the number. It's the one that's like actually like on the thick. It's a thicker poodle comb. And Magic Touch Grooming Spray Formula 2. Do I need to be listing shampoos and conditioners?
Well, I think you're out of money.
Nope, I'm not. I know the cost of these things. I spent a total of $179.38. Spotify concentrate is $18. And Utsumi comb is $90. That Chris Christensen comb is $56. And iGroom Squeaky Clean and a pair of iGroom straights. And boom, that is under $500.
There you go. Good deal. All right. So for you new groomers that feel like, you know, where do I start? There's a good starting point. So are you ready for the question that you're going to be really passionate about? And I it's something that for those of you out there that read Laura's posts and follow her closely, you're going to know about this already. But I want to kind of give you the floor. I mean, I know we don't have too much time, but Burning Man, how did you get in? What keeps you going, and why should everyone go at least once in their life?
All right. So what got me going is my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, and he was also my boyfriend in the 1990s when I got introduced to the rave scene. And so we met in an environment built on music, peace, love, unity, and respect. And, you know, that whole underground music scene just kind of dissipated and faded and then became something very commercialized and weird. And anytime I go to one, I feel really old and really out of place, so we don't really go to them anymore. And he went in 2011. And I was still living in DC at that time and just coming to New York on the weekends. And when he came back, he told me about it, and he said, "This is really incredible. I didn't take any pictures. I don't even know how to explain it, but you need to go." And so I researched it. It's a social experiment. Started in 1986. It started at Baker's Beach, San Francisco, and it grew into what is now an 80,000 person event. I looked up what I needed to bring, what to expect, what not to expect, what I need to do, and I did all of it. I did all the research, got everything. We went, and I literally, I don't think I've ever had all my senses all at once so open, all at the same time. I felt feelings and emotions that were so deep in a reservation inside me that I just didn't even know it was there. I interacted with people in a way I didn't think that was possible. I felt, I felt all these feelings that I used to get from the rave scene and what we built with this underground music thing, times a billion. And when I left and I went home, I felt like a new person, and that high lasted 11 months. Wow. And when I had gotten back from Burning Man, the first thing I wanted to do was to tell my best friend in the whole wide world about this beautiful place and all these beautiful people and all these beautiful things he didn't see. And he was in a really bad time in his life, and I was just so excited to tell him, and not to bring everybody down. But, when I came back, I found that he committed suicide. Oh, and it broke my heart in like 1,000 pieces. And I feel that, and I know this is a really weird reach, but every year I'd return to Burning Man and I'd bring a piece of him to the temple out there. And some of the messages I'd write on the temple, sometimes it would be something beautiful and enlightening. Sometimes it would be, literally like 6 paragraphs of just me crying as I write, my anger that you're not here anymore. But if it wasn't for that ritual for myself every single year, I don't think I could have accepted him being gone and the world losing such a beautiful human. It helped me understand mental health a lot better. And the whole thing just literally just every year I go, and I've been going nearly 9 years. I don't get the burn, and that's what we call it, our experience. When you go for the year, that's your burn. I don't get the burn that I want. I get the burn that I need. So every year is very, very, very different. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because your phone doesn't work. I don't know if it's because you can't open a wallet for anything. You can't buy anything. I don't know if it's because there's no media, there's no TV, there's nothing. Your purpose of every day is to wake up, feel good, and make people happy, and take care of your people and take care of yourself and explore and do fun things. And you just interact with people different. So it's not like, hey, my name's Jayne. I'm a mobile dog groomer in Manhattan. And that's not how you talk to people. It's, hi, my name is Janaxis. I'm camped at blah, blah, blah. And we're going to go into Deep Playa and explore some art. You want to come with us? Awesome. Hey, I've got these oranges. They've been in the bottom of my bag. You want one? They're a little dirty, but otherwise they're really good. Like, this is the way you interact. And it's just, I can't think of any other thing going on where you get this. And literally the world, even more so as every year presses on, becoming a harder place to be in. There's so much negative stuff in all forms of what we do, right down to just even sitting down and watching The Simpsons. This place really just brings your mind to a time where you don't have to worry about all that. You can just enjoy being yourself. You can go there happy. You can go there angry. Nobody's going to judge you with what your mindset is. You just go out there and be who you need to be and deliver the message to the default world when you leave.
It's awesome. That's it's definitely something that I started to research this past year, and I know it is definitely gotten mainstream the last several years. But
you want to know what? Anything that will allow a cell phone in will that with all good things will happen. But at the end of the day, I go Sunday of every year. All the things people complain about, I don't really see happening until the following weekend, when the weekend warriors come, when the people come to get the Instagram shots and to have the parties and do all the drugs and this, that, and the other. Just like with all things you do, and this is why I actually really like Burning Man. You can go to Burning Man if you want to do all the drugs and do all the bad stuff and party. That's fine. You can do that, but you will die if you do it for more than 2 days. It's 110 degrees during the day. It is 40 degrees at night. You know what? Nobody's body can handle drinking and partying and extracurricular activities every single day of the week. So when a person who maybe that's their agenda only goes for the weekend, that might be the only thing they experience. When you go there for the week, you get to tap into other things. I would say like one of the most beautiful things I experienced out there, and there was an art installation in the middle of nowhere, the octagon. So 8 walls, and there were canvas walls. And you walk in a little opening, there was a little footstool on right in the middle of the room. And there's a bunch of Sharpies on it. And there was a little note with a rock on top of it that said, write what you'd want to do before you die. Now, eager to participate, me being a Leo, I love to talk about myself. I am like, oh my God, I need to put my memoir of what I'm going to do before I die, or what I'd like to do. So this thing had been up since Sunday, and this was Thursday. So like literally thousands upon thousands of people had contributed to writing down their 2 cents. So I'm like scanning for an open gap so I can just mash in my so super important stuff into the masses. And I finally stopped trying to read. I stopped trying to write, and I started reading. So I read everything in English. What it said was, I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want to tell my kids I love them. I want my wife to forgive me. I want to love myself. It was beautiful stuff over and over again. And then I started reading in Spanish. And I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want to make my children proud. I want to tell my abuelita I love her. Whatever. Same messages. Mm-hmm. So then I ran out of languages I knew how to read. So I found somebody next to me. I'm like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Israel. Like, can you help me find all the Hebrew? And so he read through all the Hebrew. I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want to tell my children I love them one last time. I want to love myself. I want to have a better life. And then I found the next person. I'm like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Italy. I'm like, can you help me read all the Italian? I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want to tell my children I love them. So I went through this with for 4 hours. And what I learned, it doesn't matter what culture, what country, where you're from, if you're living in the middle of the desert, or if you're living in a cultivated country, wherever you're from, we all want the same things as human beings. Right. We may have different phones, different houses, different cars, different bank accounts, but we all want peace and love with our families, with our significant others. We want people to be proud of us. All of us as human beings, we have complicated lives, but we all in the core of it want the same things. Now, this scenario I just described to you, this is one thing out of probably about 5,000 stories. And this is what happens at Burning Man. So what was the lesson that I learned from this particular one? Sometimes it's not about putting your 2 cents in. Sometimes if you close your mouth and you open your eyes or open your ears, you can learn more than you can contribute. And so that's why I try to shut up and listen more than I talk. And it's kind of a struggle because I'm a Leo and I like to talk.
No, it's beautiful. That's yes, that happened at Burning Man, but I think that can happen in any facet of wherever, whatever. You could seriously put up one of those big Post-it notes and have that exercise, and it would be so awe-inspiring. But it's that first it's hard to explain. It's like that first minute or so, people are like, "Is this real? Are we really doing this?"
Well, people don't get. people don't engage and get as comfortable as they do out there. Out there, you expect it. You're expecting weird, squirrely stuff to happen. You're expecting weird activities. You're expecting weird situations. You're walking around in New York City and you see something to interact with. You're like, all right, so is this thing going to steal my credit information? Am I going to get arrested if I touch this? Is this considered assault?
Right.
People are censoring their comfort level, and they not. When I see virgins that come to Burning Man for the first time, actually, which is great. I brought a dog groomer out to her first burn this year, and it was amazing. She camped with us. She came out with us. Her name is Katie Doyen. I think her screen name is actually Dadey Coyen. She has it reversed. She was amazing out there. We actually nicknamed her Kitten because I'd blink and she'd be gone. And we try to stick together as a group. We don't need anybody dying. We want to make sure everybody's drinking water, being safe and happy and healthy. And I take a role of a mother out there. It's really weird because I don't have that role out here. So I'm like always making sure everybody's taking their vitamins and brushing their teeth and peeing every 4 hours and drinking their water and filling up with supplies. So it's like, it's a weird thing. But she literally, I've never seen somebody just take to it so naturally. And she would just hit the ground running, run, climb everything, jump everything. Most virgins that I bring out there, they're so scared. They're like, I can touch this? You can touch anything you want, except if it's a person's body, then you need consent. But I mean, everything else you can touch. And you can interact with everything. You can climb everything. You can jump off everything. You can do anything your mind can think up pretty much within reason. And, it's really hard to get that on default. It's really, really hard unless you're paying an entry fee or paying money for something to be able to get those same experiences with no judgment or no nothing.
Right. That's awesome. Well, for those listeners, definitely check in and do your own research and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll see you at Burning Man in the near future.
I think it'd be great. We should totally have a loyalty pet products camp at Burning Man. I think it'd be awesome.
Camp with just a gigantic puppy logo.
Yup. No, well, actually, basically the biggest thing is they like the decommodification is a big thing. So they don't like promotional things that market anything in the outside world. So you have to change it into something fun because you don't want to promote a company or anything out there. So we can, you just make a fun little name for it, and then you figure out what gift you want to give back to the playa. And it could be pet education. It could be marketing education. I literally have gone to Burning Man and just gone to support groups to help me be a better business owner. To help, I've gone to Bitcoin support groups that teach you about online trading and teach you about, learning about this digital age of trading. There's so many things out there. I literally when I come down, I'm actually going to bring you the activities book, and It's literally as thick as a Bible, and your mind's just going to be blown. You're going to be like, oh God, we have to go to this. Looks like the kids aren't going to school this year.
All right. That sounds good. Are you ready for our speed round?
Yes.
All right. So as soon as it comes into your head, just spit it out. Favorite color?
All right. Green.
Favorite TV show growing up?
Simpsons.
Favorite grooming show competition?
The favorite what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Like the location. Favorite grooming show competition. Like what show do you like going to?
New England.
Okay. Favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Oh God. You want to know what? Actually, the one that I mentioned earlier.
All right.
Your life is not your.
And the stars.
Yep, the sun and the stars and the moon and the sun.
Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Single malt Macallan 18 Sherry Oak Cast.
Favorite snack while you groom?
Spicy Cheetos.
Spicy Cheetos. Favorite thing to listen to while you're grooming?
Lindsey Sterling.
All right. And then your favorite word, but it has to be like innocently dirty, like moist.
I would have to say it would be moist.
All right. All right. So last question. Okay. What's next for Laura Jayne?
It is not an easy task, but I am looking to make my business here in New York City a little more self-sufficient. I am looking at buying a very large chunk of land out in Reno, Nevada, relocating to Reno, Nevada, like something in like the 50 to 70 acres of land. Returning to New York 1 week a month to take care of my favorite clients, and 2 months out of the year to be able to enjoy and love my city, and the rest of the time enjoy a slower pace of life, have some goats, have some chickens, build a grooming school, and try to put together a program that links all the talent that I know, that I love and respect and look up to be able to contribute to hopefully the best educational program the United States has ever seen.
That sounds awesome. We would love to be a part of that growth. That sounds really cool. And
no, that's my 100% like 2 to 5 year plan. That's what I really love to do. When I look at education, I know we touched on this briefly, and I won't turn this into a 5-hour discussion. I see so many components of education that brought me to this point that I'm at today. And had I not had the ambition to crawl down the little bunny hole and see where it led me, or people pushing me, I would have never really figured it out on my own. I went to grooming school. I thought that that's what was needed. I went to grooming school. I found, a good groomer to work under, boss me around and teach me nose from tail. And that brought me, to a certain point. And then I worked alone for a number of years and had no growth. Didn't go to any shows for a number of years and had no growth. I moved up north, continued with the shows, had a lot of growth, started going to the classes, started buying books, started going to private lessons, started competing, invested in getting quality dogs to compete with, going to dog shows. I would like to see all that crap that I did to kind of get to like this point in one program. I'm sure as hell not the person that needs to be teaching it. I don't have those. I don't have the capabilities to teach and for people to absorb that level of the people that I've studied under. But I can find a way to be able to get all that under one roof into one program and make it, instead of a laughable 12-week program, make it a 2-3 year program and bring what pet stylists are to the next level. You bring it so every dog groomer in this country is making a deep 6 figures and is not running into these problems that we have today, then I will be able to die a happy woman.
That sounds like a great goal. I see you doing it, so we will be keeping tabs on you, and hopefully we're side by side on that one. So
indeed. Listen, thank you so much for having me on. But again, I appreciate your time with this. I really enjoyed talking to you, answering all these questions. And like I said, anybody listening to this, I'm relatively active on Facebook. I try to be very open about my life. Anything that I discussed today that you'd like to touch base on, you have any questions in terms of competing, continuing your education, or just funny things about Burning Man, feel free to PM me. If you see me in person at a show, feel free to talk about these things in person. I'm always happy to answer any questions. And, I love dog groomers. It's my favorite people in the entire world. So I love talking to my friends. You guys are like my extended family. So I appreciate all this. This is great.
Well, thank you so much, Laura, for all your time. And, we appreciate it. It was a great conversation, and we will see you in less than a month in Orlando.
Yay. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great one.
We appreciate all of you out there who are following and enjoying the podcast. If you could leave a glowing review for Grooming Unleashed, it would mean a lot to us, as well as sharing with your grooming friends, coworkers, bosses, and anyone else in the industry. It would mean a lot. It also would mean a lot if you would visit our sponsor, Loyalty Pet Products, at www.loyaltypetproducts.com. And don't forget, you can use the code UNLEASHED to save 10% off of your next order. Thank you very much for our sponsorship, Loyalty Pet Products, and thank you to all of you guys who are listening to us at Grooming Unleashed. We appreciate you and your support. Thank you very much for listening to Grooming Unleashed, and if you guys could share this with your grooming friends, it would be much appreciated. Please click on the subscribe button below, as well as if you hit the little bell, it will notify you when we have a new episode for you. Have a wonderful day, everybody.